Hello, this is Danny iAnnihilate Gote coming at you with a item build guide for the caster style SF. I'm getting to my SF guide since this build I believe it's probably the most optimal way of playing SF in a lot of games this patch. The right click build, like classic style, is still pretty good, but due to the talents, basically like spell amp, movement speed, shadow race damage, cooldown reduction, it's just insane synergies with all the caster type like blink Yules, having low cooldown blink super late game. Just the blink Yules build in general has always been fairly strong for one shotting people and split pushing and the mana regen. And then you don't necessarily you used to have to translate into like a late game right click carry even if you did that build, but now with like the late game cooldown reduction, shadow race damages and stuff, you can get Hex, E-Blade, all these other kind of cool items. This synergizes very well with your spells. I still don't recommend Aghanim Scepter, and we'll go over that in a second, but just level myself to max here, get the talents. And as you see, like once you hit level 25, which you would do quite early on this hero, Blink has a 7.2 second cooldown. That's pretty insane, right? Boots of Travel, let me refresh here. There's a 27-second cooldown. What's important is you understand how the cooldown reduction and all these buffs to raises, including the stack raising. So if you hit someone 3 times, they'll have like the stack debuff and take a billion more damage. All these things just synergize so well with this playstyle of SF. Like just with bots and the movement speed talent, I almost hasted the whole game, right? I have my blink. I have a little dummy target here. Hit him with all the raises for a lot of damage. So it's 2,400 damage in a couple seconds. And that's basically why this build I find is so strong this patch. Well, I tend to prefer it over the standard build most of the time. So let me get rid of all this stuff for you. You're still going to be getting like the standard laning items, like you can get treads early, you can get Kilo, bottle, wand, all that normal stuff. And then the first items you're going to be getting generally, if you're having a good game, you probably just rush Yule's Blink. You do the combo with your ult, so one-shot people, Sumail style from a long time ago. And then different from a long time ago is you don't have to translate into a right-click build after. You don't have to get like the butterfly or whatever after. You can just keep getting caster items. So obviously I'd get Pvgna next in almost every game. And then from here you can get a Manta if they have a lot of debuffs and silences and really annoying stuff. That's kind of a situational item. Ike is not so great with this build. I mean, it's okay. If you have to get it, I would get it. Like, Clockwork's one of those heroes you kind of have to get it against. But it's much better item for like the right click based SF than this build. This build, you're kind of like going in and out of the fight and doing a billion burst damage. You're not necessarily just sitting there right clicking people the whole time. So your positioning is a little bit different. But generally, I go for an E-Blade. Manta synergizes pretty well with E-Blade because of the stats you get, obviously. So it'd be something like this. Not necessarily my final item build, but this is the build I went. I'll show you guys. Then I replaced the Yules with a Hex, and it has insane synergy with the cooldown reduction talent. So I have a 13-second cooldown Hex, 12-second cooldown E-Blade, 6-second cooldown raises. You guys can see where this is going, right? 7-second cooldown blink, 27-second cooldown bots, 27-second cooldown Manta, which has nice synergy to push out waves. So say you nuke out a wave, you press Manta, you bot somewhere else. As soon as your bots are going to be back up again, you can Manta again. It's really, really nice synergies. Manta, again, is not an item you want to get every game, but it does well with this build. Lincolns you might want to get in some games if they have stuff that goes through BKB, like, there's Abyssal Blades. Cheap before you get BKB off, or like swap and other stuff that can interrupt your combos that you want to look out for. You can go for a Dagon instead of a Manta or a Hex if like necessary. You get Hex. Usually late game they have BKBs and all types of other stuff to stop you from going ham. So to get like the combo off, you do something like this, right? And that does like 2,500 damage, which is ridiculous, and it does it while they're sheeped. So you can almost one-shot anybody. Maybe they have like a Sven with 3k HP and you're gonna have to do it twice, but I mean, the cooldown's so low, it's ridiculous. So like I talked about in like the item slash overview video, I did go Yules first and then Blink. And this game I decided to go Boots of Travel. I just kept brown boots, got BKB, and then went Boots of Travel. This is simply because I'm against Furion and Tinker. You know, I need to be around the map. I need to split push the lanes, push the lanes out, or we're just gonna get choked into our base if I call the lanes are pushed out all game. So it's kind of just a situational thing. Usually I get treads because they're so valuable on Shadow Fiend, like the attack speed with your damage early game, and then the stats and tread swapping for raises and all that good stuff. One of the situational items I got this game was Manta. It's pretty good in most games just because it has the same cooldown as bots with the cooldown reduction and helps push lanes out and whatnot. On top of the fact you get that nice movement speed bonus to keep yourself hasted all game and all that good stuff. But it's not like the greatest item. It doesn't really help you burst anyone down. It just I got it this game because I needed it in some cases to take laser off from Tinker, but more importantly for the Slardar ult and any type of silence or Orchid from Furion. I mean, I do have Yules, but normally I don't want to just stun myself in front of him. You know what I mean? Kind of easier to just have the debuff purge, but or at least I think he went Orchid. Yeah, he did. The way I wanted to approach team fights here is I want to go on the Tinker when he goes in. Or I don't remember if I think Bloodseer at BKB at this point, so I can't really go for him first unless he gets roared. But I kind of want to let Gyro go in front with the Undying and go in after the team fight already starts and try to find the Tinker. Interrupt this Blink with Yules and then just one-shot him with my ults, not BKB or anything like that to get away from it. Because once I have Sheep, I think I can solo kill anyone, no matter what. Versus BKB. I was a little scared of Tinker there, but even using my BKB there, it only has a 40-second cooldown. Like, it's not a big deal at all. So much damage. Oh wow! I remember that little interaction in game where I was like, where in the fuck did this Slardar go? What in the world? But I guess he just ran away. The gist of it is it plays like the old Shadow Fiend in the early to mid game, but instead of becoming this big frontline type of carry, where you just get really tanky and push as 5, or like even some games you're more of like a sniper type carry. I misclicked my E-Blade there. Where you're like 5-manning a lot and taking towers. You're just splitting, getting kills with the Blink Yules, and then snowballing up to level 25, where you just do insane amounts of damage with constantly E-Blade, one-shotting people, two-shotting people. Like even with this build, even without like the +3 damage per soul talent or anything, and these like very caster heavy, not necessarily caster heavy, but like I have a Blink in my inventory, I have an E-Blade, I don't have like a Butterfly or Satanic or Scotty, like none of these late game like right click items. I still do quite a bit of right click damage, just because E-Blade is such a nice stat item. So this game, I actually do go for the Dagon instead of the Blink, and I think I mentioned this in the item slash overview video, but Dagon's actually a really good option here too, because I have some like spell amp from the int and then the talent. Or did I go attack speed this game? I'm not sure if that's right. I'm pretty sure I went spell amp. At least I would now. Maybe I didn't this game. It was like my first or second game with the new SF talents, but definitely get the spell amp talent. Much better. Synergizes very well with Dagon. Now, if I couldn't one-shot people before during the sheep, or not necessarily one-shot, but burst them down during the sheep, I definitely can now, anybody. And the cooldown on Dagon, 9-second cooldown on Dagon. That's insane. Yeah, this guy's just gonna... Oh, no. Oof. So yeah, that'll just happen to people if they ever show alone. And this game kind of showcases, like, usually a build like this is really gimmicky and falls off in the later stages of the game, right? Like, if you were to go this build like a couple patches ago before the cooldown reduction talent, you definitely wouldn't be this useful throughout the game. But it, like, makes you so much more potent late game that these cooldowns are so low, so when they buy back like this, your entire kit's not spent. Like, your ult's not gonna be on cooldown for 3 minutes, your BKB's not gonna be down for 60 seconds. You know, Sheep would normally have like a really long cooldown as well. You can just reset the fight, and like 10 seconds later, you have everything up again. Exactly what happens here. No one else on Dire has buyback. This is basically the end of the game. So, you know, one kill on Tinker and that's it. But yeah, that definitely just showcases how good this build is. It's like you don't fall off late game, despite the fact that you're so magic based. Oh yeah, that's the one thing you have to look out for mechanically, is once you cast E-Blade, your hero's gonna auto attack. If you have like the standard auto attack on, your hero's gonna auto attack something. So your hero might turn. You don't cancel your auto attack really fast. Something to look out for when you're doing the E-Blade combos. Like, if there's another hero around, or even creeps sometimes, your hero will prioritize like auto attacking after the E-Blade, and then you won't be able to raise right away. So just make sure you line up your raises correctly after you cast E-Blade. Yeah, I'll show the score screen here. Graphs. So we were behind for most of the game, in fact. But yeah, that about wraps up the caster style SF mid to late game kind of video here. Thanks for watching.